Was Tech football able to upset the Longhorns? Did the Pac-12, Mountain West, and MAC conferences follow the Big Ten and decide to join in on the college football fun? The NBA Finals are officially set, and after a Game 5 win for the Stars in the Stanley Cup, will the Stars be able to continue the comeback, or will the Lightning close it out? Find out next. MCTV Sports 101 starts now. Hey there, sports fans, and welcome to MCTV Sports 101. I am Austin Seat.
And I'm Ryan Heller. Now, sadly, Texas Tech football took on the Texas Longhorns on Saturday, and the Red Raiders were up by 15 with a little over 2 minutes left in the game due to a 75-yard touchdown run by Sir Roderick Thompson. After that, the Longhorns scored on a touchdown pass by Sam Ehlinger, recovered the onside kick, and then scored again with a two-point conversion to send it to overtime. The Red Raiders then fell to Texas in overtime when Texas scored first, and they couldn't match it. The Red Raiders will take on the Kansas State Wildcats in Manhattan, Kansas next week at Saturday, 2:30 p.m. Austin, what's your take on the game, and how can they overcome this gut-wrenching loss?
Well, first off, my overtake on the game was I thought it was a very good, close game. I thought it was closer than what a lot of Tech fans and even Longhorn fans, and I think even bookies and all them, announcers and projectors, I think it was closer than what they thought it would be.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there were a lot of mental mistakes in this game. I think, Alan Bowman, I think, had 3 total interceptions, one of those being the last one in overtime for Texas to seal the deal, compared to Sam Ehlinger, who only had 1. But, I mean, Alan Bowman, he played great. I mean,
he did. 325
yards and with 5 TDs. You can't not fault a guy for trying. I think in his first true test, like healthy test, beside from him being injured, I think he shows he can play this game and he can do it right. I think that defensive-wise, I thought we looked great in the third quarter, and I thought we looked great in the first and second. I think we were tired by the fourth.
Yeah.
Which it didn't help that you have an onside kick recovery. And we could argue over onside kick. You recover the onside kick, Tech wins. You stop the 2-point, Tech wins. You don't do a sky pooch or a squib kick, Tech wins. But I thought all in all it was a good game, and I think that they have nothing to fear. I'm not going to say they have nothing to fear. They've got they're going up against a pretty good, or a good Kansas State squad who just beat the number 3 ranked Oklahoma Sooners, but they did that last year as well. So I feel confident going forward into this. What was your take on the game? Because I unfortunately couldn't get a ticket. They sold out so fast.
Well, that's why I bought my ticket on Monday, and I paid the price for it, as you can see.
Paid your price how? Was it good or bad?
Well, so you tell me. Sunday morning, I looked like Larry the Lobster from SpongeBob. And for anyone who doesn't know that reference, you are too young. Here's my take on it. I think that the Red Raiders really did blow it. You mentioned that Bowman had 3 interceptions. He did. 2 of them were right after great special teams plays.
Onside kick recovery.
Onside kick recovery. The next play, interception. Mm-hmm. We block a punt. 2 plays later, interception. Which then Texas.
And the first play wasn't. The first play, he recovered a fumble. Now, I don't know if that was the center's fault, his fault, what miscommunication was, but you are right. You can't you take away those 2 interceptions, completely different ball game.
Exactly. We might not have even needed to worry about the last 2 minutes of the game. Now, me personally, I know I'm going to be unpopular saying this, but they should have drained the clock better. They should have managed it better. I know it was a great play by Sir Roderick Thompson. I don't know how he got out of that. But I know I'm going to be unpopular for saying this, but it might have been better if he didn't break free, because then they could have drained the clock more and more, and then we wouldn't have given them 2 minutes left to do all that stuff. I know I sound unpopular for saying that, but I think it might have been better, despite the fact that it was a phenomenal run. I don't know how he broke out of it in the first place.
I agree with you. I agree and disagree with you, but unfortunately we've ran out of time for that. So Larry, we're going to have to move on here. Well, it's finally happening. All conferences are back for football. For a while it seemed impossible, but the Pac-12, Mountain West, and MAC Conference will finally begin playing college football along with the Big Ten. The Mountain West will also begin play October 24th along with the Big Ten, and will also have an 8-game season. The MAC Conference will start on November 4th, but will only have a 6-game season. The Pac-12 will begin in play on November 6th and will only have a 7-game season. Ryan, what's your take on these new developments?
I'm going to be honest. I'm shocked that the Pac-12, to use your phrase, they grew a pair. I'm a little shocked. I'm not so surprised with the Mountain West, not so surprised with the MAC. I am a little surprised that the MAC conference is only doing, what, a 6-game season?
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised with that, but I'm surprised that the Pac-12 decided to play. I thought starting in November was going to be a disaster, but it turns out to be okay. I do like that they finally saw that, hey, you know what, it's working for everybody else. Let's give it a shot. Let's make our student fans happy. Let's make our fans happy, our season ticket holders happy. Let's do this. Let's find a way to make it safe. I like that they did it. And I'm given to understand that the title game for both the Pac-12 and the MAC conference, the Mountain West are both on December 19th. It's a little late, but you start late, you have to finish late. Mm-hmm. And for the MAC, it's going to be either on the 18th or the 19th. It depends on what's going to happen there with that. It's going to be one of those two. But I definitely like what I see from that. I like this new development. What do you think?
Well, first of all, I had no doubts that they were going to come back. I think I was 100% sure that they were going to come back if the Big Ten came back, which they are, and they did. So I was right on that. My predictions for this are being spot on. I mean, when you look at the Pac-12, you knew, first of all, we all knew that they were going to say, hey, if we got to watch and see what the Big 12, the SEC, and the ACC do. And then if it's working well for them, we'll think about it and we'll talk to it. But you knew the Pac-12 was, so they did that. But you knew, I think everyone knew that the Pac-12 was going to be the last of the Power 5 conferences to join in on the football action. But I think a lot of people knew they were going to come back because of money. I think when it comes down to it, the money is them seeing the Big 12, the SEC, ACC, and the Big 10, them all coming back and getting money out of it, and then Notre Dame playing with the ACC. Them getting money out of it is probably one, if not the only reason that they came back, so they can try to salvage what they could for the remaining of this year. And
then might have had another reason for why the MAC and the Mountain West, because they're not Power 5 conferences. They need all the extra money that they can from these ticket sales. So I think that was a big play on that as well.
I agree with that.
And also coming up, the NHL Stanley Cup has gotten a little bit more interesting between the Dallas Stars and the Tampa Bay Lightning, as the Dallas Stars won Game 5, 3-2 in double overtime. When Dallas was down 2-1 in the third period and all hope seemed lost, Joe Pavelski scored the tying goal with 13 minutes left, which eventually sent the game to overtime. In the second overtime, Corey Perry scored with the assist to John Klingberg, giving them the win. They will play Game 6 tonight. Austin, what's your take on the game, and what does Dallas have to do to force a Game 7?
I think they have to repeat a lot of what they did in that Game 5. I think you have to score early, which they did in a few of those games, but the Lightning were able to come back. The Lightning do have a big blow. I can't remember his name, but they do have a big blow. I think it's actually Steven Stamkos, I believe. He is out for the remainder of these playoffs.
That's right.
Or the remainder of the Stanley Cup playoffs. So that's going to be a big blow to the Lightning. I think the Dallas Stars, if they come out swinging and they're able to get a couple goals early, I think they have a chance to take Game 6 from them. I think Tampa Bay, but you got to be wary of Tampa Bay's resilience. They do come back, and they come back swinging. There was one game, I believe, where the Dallas Stars, I think they were up by 2-0, and Tampa Bay came back and won it. There's another game I saw where Dallas got scored early multiple times, but they lost 5-4. This game is another example. I think they scored early, then Tampa came back to win it, or to get the lead 2-1. Then, like we said, Dallas ties it. They go into an overtime. Nobody scores. They go into a second overtime, and Dallas was able to get lucky and get a score.
Yeah, that was an interesting goal because it looked to me like it kind of ricocheted off of the goalie, and then Pavelski was right there, just happened to be there, was able to puck it in. Mm-hmm. But hey, you know what? Sometimes better lucky than good. So.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I also think that I think Dallas has to be weird. I think their goalkeeper is what I'm concerned about mainly. Dallas does have a lot of they do have a lot of injuries currently, like Blake, Radek, Ben Bishop, Rope. They're all day-to-day, so they may play, they may not. I'm not 100% sure, but the goalie is what I'll be interested to see when it comes to Dallas, because there was that one game I think the goalie had 30 saves and helped Dallas to win Game 1, I believe. So
yeah, in this game he had 39 of 41 saves, which is still very impressive.
Yeah, I agree. I think the goal, if the goalies can help, if the goalies get that close to a number of saves, like 30 of 30 or like something close, I think they got a shot. Well, after the suspension of the season and going through the NBA bubble, we finally have our NBA Finals matchup. The Lakers defeated the Denver Nuggets on Saturday, 117-107, and the Miami Heat defeated the Boston Celtics yesterday, 125-113, which means it will be between the Lakers and the Heat. Game 1 will tip off on Wednesday. Ryan, how do you see this series going down?
You know what? I'm thinking a 7-game series. I don't know who's going to win, but I'm thinking a 7-game series. Because you look at the Heat, they got so much momentum. I believe they swept their first round opponent. I believe it was to the Pacers, and then they go ahead and then they beat the Bucks in 5, then they beat the Celtics in 6, which, by the way, I did predict that the Heat was going to win as well. And then you have the Lakers, who have, they beat the Nuggets in 5. So I don't know, man. I'm thinking a 7-game series. That's to me. But the Heat need to rely on
Jimmy Butler for sure.
Jimmy Butler, who's been playing well. Goran Dragic has been playing well, and so is Bam Adebayo. He's averaging 11 assists a game.
Yeah. Don't forget about Tyler Herro, who was probably a king during that Celtic series. Oh yeah. Here are your season leaders as for each team. On the Heat, you got Jimmy Butler at 20 points a game. Adebayo, 11 rebounds a game.
21 points a game during this series, last series.
Yep. Jimmy Butler with assists. He's getting averaging about 6 assists a game. Over on the Lakers side, you got Davis. Davis has been scoring on average about 26 points a game. That's a lot, and I think that's what's going to give the Heat trouble. Davis also in the rebound category, getting 10 or 9 rebounds. LeBron James getting on average about 10 assists. So LeBron is going to pass that ball. You've got Rondo on that Lakers squad. You've got JaVale McGee, who's been playing well. Dwight Howard, even though he's on the older side, he does look like he's kind of coming to his own on this Lakers squad and realizing his role very, very well. I've seen him play throughout the Houston Rockets. Sorry to bring that up, but that series, as well as the Blazer series. So I think it's going to be an interesting matchup. As far as the game, I would love to see it go to a Game 7. I think we all would. I think if you have the Heat, who did 5-1, 6-1, and then 4-0, and then you have the Lakers, who went 5-1 their entire series. I say it ends in 5 or 6. As to who it goes, I don't know. I'm going to have to watch Game 1 to find that out, brother.
But both teams do have players with the championship finals experience. So
LeBron's looking for his 4th.
And also, I believe
JaVale McGee, he's got 2 with the Warriors, so he's obviously looking to get his 3rd here.
And Andre Iguodala, he's with the Heat. He's made his 6th straight finals appearance.
Yep. LeBron's got 10 though.
That's true too.
So it's going to be an interesting series to see. Well, now it's time for who you got. To start off, we have the Kansas City Chiefs facing off against the Baltimore Ravens later tonight. Ryan, who you got?
Oh, this is an easy pick for me. The Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going with my boy Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes has just got to be Patrick Mahomes, and I'm loving what I'm seeing from Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I was saying this to you last year or last semester, if I'm not mistaken. I was saying that whoever drafts this kid from LSU, whoever drafts him, because he played a great game in the championship, whoever drafts him is going to have a steal. And he ends up getting drafted by, of course, the Chiefs in the last pick of the first round. I'm loving what I'm seeing from him. I'm loving what I'm seeing from the receivers. Kelsey, I'm going with the Chiefs. What about you?
I'm going to have to agree with you. I've gone with the Chiefs on this one. I think it's going to be a close matchup. Going to be a very high-scoring game. I don't think the defenses are. Ravens defense has been is usually able to keep it pretty close. They're almost always very good with that, or especially with that Ravens offensive attack that they've got going on. Chiefs not so much, but I think it's a very high-scoring game. I don't think the Ravens defense can hold up to that Chiefs offense.
No, I don't think so either. This is definitely going to be a high-scoring game. I agree with you. Mm-hmm. Well, tonight we have the LA Lakers versus the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's right.
You're thinking of them. Let me rephrase that for you, partner. We've got the LA Lakers versus the Miami Heat on Wednesday for Game 1.
Game 1 in the finals on Wednesday. Also, who you got?
I got Lakers. I'm gonna make a bold pick. I'm going Lakers.
Really? Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go with the Miami Heat. I'm gonna go with them. like I said before, 7-game series, but I think the Heat take game 1. I think they got a right on Bam Adebayo, who last series averaged 21 points a game. He averaged 11 assists a game. Ride with Goran Dragic with his experience. Tyler Hero, who's playing out of his mind as a rookie.
Yep.
I didn't like the idea of him being a one and done, but he happened to be drafted into a good system, a good scheme fit for him, so it worked out good.
I agree.
So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Heat.
All right. Well, we'll find out, brother, on Wednesday. Well, also or later today, or it may have happened earlier today, if it did, because it is over in Europe. But we had Arsenal facing Liverpool. I think that game is either still going on or over. But before we check, Ryan, who was your pick?
I picked Liverpool. Yes, I know they're not usually a clutch team, so I've heard, but it is still early in the league, so they still have time to get their mojo rolling. What about you?
I have Arsenal going on into this one. They've won their last 5 matchups. They were 5-0 coming into this game. Liverpool usually shows themselves at the top of the leaderboard, especially early on into the Premier League, which is what it is now. It's very early. I think they were all tied at 2-2, or 2 wins, 0 losses going into that. Now this is what we had before. Let me check here, see if this game is still live.
Yes, let's check. The game is
game is over.
Liverpool won. So
which is to be expected. I mean, Liverpool does start off strong going into the Premier League, but I don't think they're going to clutch it.
So we do want our fans to know that this is a first. This has never happened where we're doing a Who You Got and the game already ended.
Well, it was live during our performance.
It was live.
I think it just ended like a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
Well, finish it off, partner.
First. Finally, that's right. To finish it off, we have the Game 6 NHL matchup between the Dallas Stars and the Tampa Bay Lightning in the Stanley Cup. Austin, who you got?
I'm a Dallas boy. I got to go with the Stars on this one.
You know what? I'm going to go with you as well. I'm going to go with the Stars as well. I think that if Corey Perry can continue his ways, Anton can be the great goalie that he is. Pavelski, Klingberg, I think it's going to be a good one.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's going to be interesting. I think Dallas is going to make it interesting, so we'll see how it goes. Well, that's our show for this week's edition of MCTV Sports 101. Join us next week for the latest big name and stories in sports. I am Austin C.
And I'm Ryan Heller. We will see you next week.
You hit something in the ceiling, didn't you?
And then it ricocheted, yeah. Always something new with me.
It's a not good one, my friend. Not good.